We have today Ralph Zuranski, a former special features writer and photographer of the Coronado Eagle newspaper, created the In Search of Heroes program for high school students. And it's a program for high school and college students, teaching them first how to be healthy and think clearly, and then how to apply the secret internet and offline marketing techniques that generate massive amounts of extra income for those individuals and their businesses who deserve recognition as local heroes, so they can personally fund the most valuable community programs. So it's a real pleasure to have Ralph Zuranski on our program today.
Thank you, Sharif.
You're welcome. Let me just ask you, tell me a little bit more about your In Search of Heroes program.
It's a program that I created back when I was a writer and photographer for the Coronado Eagle. I was disgusted by the heroes, like the rock stars, the sports stars, the movie stars, people that are basically just into money and fame that don't really give kids a good example of what it is to be productive human beings. You know, when you focus on material possessions and fame, and the people's lives are broken, they're in shambles, they're on drugs, illicit sex, so many things that are such a devastating aspect of people's lives. I just thought, we really need to look at who the real heroes are. And from my experience over my lifetime of being involved in professional sports, working with movie stars and working with incredibly important people, I've found that the real people are the moms and the dads, the people in the families that take their time and sacrifice to help and protect and serve those that they know that are in their family circles. Just recently had my mom and dad had catastrophic illnesses last year, and so I was the only child that decided to drop what I was doing and come back and live with my parents and help take care of them. And I'm thankful that my wife came with me. And now that I see how hard that actually is to step up the plate and take care of your parents when they have catastrophic illnesses, and just how great are the sacrifices, I realize that the real heroes are the people that are making big differences in the lives of the people within their own families. And I thought people really need to know this, and so that's when I created the Heroes program to take high school kids in search of local and national heroes, to just ask them, well, who are the heroes in their lives? And almost to a person, even the movie stars and important people in the community, they all said it was their moms and dads or the coaches and the teachers.
Well said. What is your definition of heroism?
My definition of heroism is similar to yours. It's somebody that serves and protects, somebody that sacrifices their life in a way that enriches either the people in their own family as individuals or groups of individuals. You look at some of the great spiritual leaders like Gandhi or Mother Teresa or John Paul, the Pope that just recently died. Those people gave up their own personal sacrifice of wealth, material possessions, fame, to serve others. And so I firmly believe, just as you do, that it's those people that serve and protect those in their community that make a great sacrifice to make a difference, a positive difference in the lives of other people. They're continually working to make the world and other people's lives better, the best that they possibly can, by actually giving action on their part and showing that it's not do as I say, but do as I do.
Yes. Did you ever create a secret hero in your mind that helped you deal with life's difficulties?
Well, I really did. As a child, I had tremendous health problems. I was born 3 months premature, and it just seems that I was addicted to sugar and eating crap all day. My teeth started rotting in my mouth at an early age, and every time I went into the dentist, I'd have to get 4 or 5 fillings. It got to such a point that I just absolutely would bear the pain of having the dentist drill on my teeth without going for the Novocaine shots.
Oh, boy.
Just because it was just so painful. And to help me deal with that, I created, a character in my mind. I didn't know who it was, but just added a character that was always there and saying, you can do it, because eating sugar all the time, I was extremely depressed, and plus I was having severe problems with my hormones because my blood sugar was constantly going up and down, and I was using up all my cortisol to basically just keep my blood sugar level up so I didn't die and go into a coma. And in the process of doing that, what happened is that my body was utilizing all my sex hormones, especially the testosterone, just to keep my blood sugar level up, converting it into cortisol. And so what happened is that I was a 99-pound weakling. I was like the midget in the class, and I was sick all the time. I was depressed. I was suicidal, and I just hated how I looked. I had a big nose and big ears, and I was of Polish heritage, and so I got all the Polish jokes. And I would look in the mirror, and I would just tell myself, I hate you, I wish you were dead. And, it was that special character that I created that helped me get through life. And, it was, all the way through high school and college that I was depressed, and I didn't know why, and it was because of a hormonal problem, and there was always that secret hero there that kept me going.
Sounds like quite the ordeal. What were or are the qualities and attributes of your secret hero?
Well, my secret hero was positive all the time, and my hero was always telling me, you can do it, don't give up, even though you fail, never give up, and everything's going to be okay, just don't focus on the negative. Just continue to be positive and just try. You're only a failure if you don't get back up and try again. You're going to fail a lot, but if you learn from your failures, you continue to find out how to have a better and more successful life. So my character really gave me hope and said, you can do it. It was that one piece of life that always was there to keep me going in times of just difficulty and depression and just, severe self-worthlessness.
Oh, that's great. So it was a positive influence.
Oh, absolutely.
What is your perspective on goodness, ethics, and moral behavior?
That's a good question, and that's a hard one because there's spiritual aspect to that that's so great. I think it has a lot to do with what type of faith a person has, and that determines a lot what their ethics are and what they consider as moral behavior. As a Christian, Catholic, that I read the Bible a lot, and I basically follow the teachings of Jesus as far as laying your life down for others and doing good to others. My favorite quote is, how do you turn evil to good? And it's by loving your enemies and doing good to those that hate you and blessing those that curse you and praying for those that despitefully use you and persecute you. I think that's the only way you can really turn evil to good, is by providing good first rather than returning evil for evil. And I think that in every culture and every faith of all the great teachers, that was the idea, the golden rule of doing good to others as you would have them doing to you, and doing it first rather than expecting the world to do good to you first. It's sort of like priming the pump, is that you have to give first. You have to put something into the system before you'll ever get something out of it.
That's right. What principles are you willing to sacrifice your life for?
I think, like yourself, that I'm willing to sacrifice my life for those who I love, and I'm willing to sacrifice my life for freedom. And if there's an opportunity to sacrifice your life, to lay your life down for somebody that you don't know, I think that I would be willing to do that because I trust in God and know that by living my life and trusting in Him and searching for what it is that He wants me to do, that if there is a situation where I had to sacrifice my life to save even one person, that I would actually do that because I know it's a part of God's plan, rather than trying to figure out from day to day and, just having the positive attitude, which I think is important. I always trust in the Lord with all my heart and lean not to my own understanding, and acknowledge Him in all my ways and know that He'll direct my paths. And, my paths are completely different from His, and it takes a lot of faith each day to wake up and having no idea what God wants you to do, but just living moment to moment and allowing Him to guide you with events that occur just completely out of the view of what you have going on in your own mind of where you want to go, and just willingly and gratefully and thankfully. A lot of times it's something you don't really want to do, but thanking God for that and knowing that you're serving a greater purpose rather than just serving yourself.
When was the lowest point in your life, and how did you change your life path to one of victory over obstacles?
My lowest life point was after I turned away from God in high school. I went to a Catholic high school, and there was no girls there, and so most of the time you just thought about girls and sex, and it was right at the time that Playboy came out, and I started taking vitamins and working out when I was 13, and that completely changed my life, and it actually started my path from being a 99-pound weakling to be a muscle-bound anomaly in the universe, because I was your typical nerd with the big nose, horn-rimmed glasses, the plastic pen carrier, and yet I had muscles. And when I started taking vitamins and working out, all of a sudden I had this huge surge of testosterone, and so I was thinking, golly, I got to get a date. I got to go out with girls. I got to find a girlfriend. Got to have sex, and so that was in direct opposition to what I'd learned in Catholic school as far as being a virgin until marriage. And so I went to UCSD, which is sort of a revolutionary college. I had a lot of communists on the staff, and you had to take a socials program, humanities, that taught you that the reason why you were screwed up is that you needed to rebel, you needed to get involved in mind-expanding drugs and sex, and just rebelling against what your parents taught you and what you had, society telling you. And it was at the time of the Vietnam War, and so I was disillusioned with what was going on, and so I figured, the reason why I'm screwed up is I'm not having enough sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That was in vogue at that time, yeah.
And so I decided I would go down that trail, and I still remember the first day that I didn't go to Mass. I decided I would go surfing instead. I was sitting out in the ocean, and it was the time of the movie Jaws, and I just kept on thinking about this big giant shark opening its mouth and just consuming me, sort of like the whale consumed Jonah.
Yes.
Sitting out on my board just as punishment for turning away from God. And when nothing happened like that, that sort of sent me down a spiral of getting involved in sex and drugs and rock and roll and psychedelics, and it completely evolved into a situation where, I was smoking pot all the time. I was living with a guy that was into coke and all the horrible things that involved in freebasing coke, and I saw all that, and ultimately it led me to a point where I was just so depressed and I was ready to kill myself. I still had that problem with depression, and even though I had money, I had sex, I had drugs, I was just so depressed, and just the idea of training a child in the way they should go, and when they're old they won't depart from it. I know my parents were praying for me, and just spontaneously at that lowest point in my life when I was ready to kill myself, I just started just out of the blue, subconsciously, I started saying the Lord's Prayer and the Hail Mary, and that seemed to put me in a situation where I was able to find my relationship as God as either accept the free gift of salvation or just kill myself. And thankfully, God gave me the grace and the faith to make the right choice.
Oh, what a powerful story. Do you have a dream or a vision that sets the course of your life?
I do have a dream or vision, and that vision is to make the world a better place, and especially for young people. I know my childhood and just teenage and going through college, it was so miserable because I didn't know why I was so depressed and why I had so many health problems, and I was sick all the time, and I was just plagued with one problem after another problem, and it had to do with my mindset as far as what my thoughts were, and also just my health problems. So I've spent the last 30 years researching why I felt so bad and what was wrong with me, and I finally found out at the age of 13 when I started taking vitamins and working out. I went from being a C and a D student to an A student almost overnight and got a scholarship to Catholic high school, and it was at 13 that I dedicated my life to the study of health and human awareness and just trying to discover what are the ultimate limits of human performance in all areas. And it took me 30 more years of studying alternative medicine and learning about all the great leaders in alternative medicine that have created incredible therapies that help people overcome all the types of diseases and health problems that I was suffering from. And so my dream and my vision is the In Search of Heroes program, to share that health knowledge and share the mental processes that people have that have helped them to become such great successes over just a lot of times unbelievable odds, even like yourself. When you're addicted to alcohol and, is either basically self-suicide or making a change in your life. So my goal is to help people realize how they too can be heroes in their own life and make a real difference in the lives of others within their life and within the society.
Do you take a positive view of setbacks, misfortunes, and mistakes?
I don't always do that. I know I should, but having suffered with depression for so many years, it seems that every day I'm always battling just fear and doubts and just, thoughts of mistakes that I've made, the misfortunes that I've had, the setbacks that I've had. It just is sometimes almost paralyzing. And it's just incredible. And the only thing that I found that can help me do that is, one, using the rubber band on the wrist and snapping myself big time. And the other thing is just praying to God and ask Him to just remove those, because I see those as temptations from Satan that is trying to just destroy my path in doing the work that God set out for me.
Would you say you're an optimist?
Not all the time. I know how important it is to have positive thoughts, but just in being in a situation when you're taking care of your mom and dad, and they're both near death, and you don't know what's going to happen each day, and you have to a lot of times change your parents' diapers and do all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't normally realize that you had to do, and just how much that you have to sacrifice in your life. And my wife and I can't go anywhere by ourselves anymore because somebody always has to be there, and it is hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be depressing. So.
And do you have the courage to pursue new ideas?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. It's really hard sometimes to know that when you change the direction that you're going and to pursue new ideas, that there's going to be a lot of people that will try and prevent you from doing it.
Right.
And so you're going to experience a lot of pain in the process of doing that, because some of those times it's the people that you really love and love you that don't want you to change because they're comfortable with the way that you are. And when you strive to overcome the negative aspects, it's really difficult to, make those changes, because those people get angry, they're going to punish you for doing that. But it's so crucial just to, make those changes, to have that courage, because you're going to have to pay a price to change your life.
That's right. Were you willing to experience discomfort in the pursuit of your dream?
I was, and it seems that I've been 10 years ahead of my time as far as researching health at the age of 13 and telling people about vitamins and exercise. And I've been there just in the idea of helping people to try and realize the heroes are our moms and dads and people around us. It seems that a lot of times people just aren't interested in your dream because they've got their own dreams.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get people to realize that you've got a dream and that you're trying to do things. Most people seem so wrapped up in sex and drugs and material possessions and personal power and, just having what society says they should have that makes them happy, that they see on TV and all the advertisements. It's so frustrating sometimes just to realize that, most people don't share your dream, and that you just have to continue on with your dream and just never give up.
Yes. Did you believe your dreams would eventually become reality?
I do believe my dreams will become reality, and I look back in 1992 when I first started the Heroes program, and I realized that that was something that God wanted me to do, and I just saw the huge amount of work that it would take and just the massive investment of time and money, and I've been funding it with my time and money for almost 13 years now, and just the sacrifices that I've had to make during those times. I've had to basically live out of my car because in pursuing my dream and doing everything I could to work with people with that are ethical, that have integrity. A lot of the people that had taken advantage of me, I just had to break those connections, even though it was the way that I was making a living, and had to cut back on my life just to pursue my dreams. But I always believed that they would become true, and I was willing to pay the price to make them become true.
So you've overcome a lot of obstacles. How are you able to overcome your doubts and your fears?
That's a daily effort to overcome doubts and fears. Every day I wake up, I have doubts and fears both. I have doubts about what I'm doing, whether it's ever going to become successful, whether I will able to do this full time, whether it will generate enough income so I can actually give the program life and have it go to every community, because it just takes money to be able to do that. And it's hard to generate income when not everybody has accepted your dream, is ready to support it and contribute to it. And fears, I think everybody has fears. Fears are things that you perceive that aren't real. And I think that people that are really true to what's going on, they realize that those fears are something that are a part of everyday life and that everybody has them. And the most important thing you can do is do the things that overcome your fears. Do those things that you do fear. There's a certain aspect of, you can fear a rattlesnake. Fear is good to a certain point, but the idea of fear of failure and fear of loss and fear of rejection, those are things that I think everybody experiences, and those are things that you have to take a positive view and just think, I'm going to do this because it's a part of attaining my dream. And I know that a lot of times it's not personal when people reject me or when the things I hope will happen don't happen. It's just a part of learning how the way that things actually will work. It's sort of like Thomas Edison, how many times he did to find a way that worked to create the light bulb. He did it thousands and thousands of times, and I think that as you continue on, that ultimately you build a momentum, and you start doing small things better, and you start doing things right, and you associate with people that are doing the right things, and you learn from them, and they become your mentors, and they teach you the right ways to do it, and so your fears diminish because you have greater success in doing things the right way.
Great advice. Ralph, who helped give you the willpower to change things in your life for the better?
Well, back when I was, thinking about committing suicide, and, even though I had material possessions and money and drugs and sex, it just brought no happiness. Yeah. And, if it wasn't for God offering me that free gift of salvation, eternal salvation, and giving me the grace that I needed to make the right decision, I would be dead. I would be dead in some alley like you, or, when you're going down that trail. And so first I have to say that God gives me the power, the willpower to change things in my life, because I'm selfish and I want things for myself, and it's so hard sometimes just to sacrifice your life for others, especially, if it's a big sacrifice in wealth and material possessions, when you have to take care of others that are sick in your family. And I think the other person that is giving me the willpower is my wife, even though, we've been through a lot of difficult times over the last 10 years because she's had severe health problems herself. It's taken us 10 years to find out why she was going through premature menopause and all the hormonal problems that she had, and that was when we met Dr. Borkin over the last 5 years, who's an expert in hormones and understanding how the hormonal process works. If I just would have known as a kid, and if I was a parent and knew about the hormones in my kids and how major of an impact that is and how you can balance those things out, that would have made a huge difference. And so I say that first God, my wife, and just supporting me no matter what and dealing with all the problems in her life, but always saying, yes, Ralph, I know that you can do it, and having faith that I could do it. And then Dr. Borkin, and just coming into my life and showing me what to do that I needed to balance out my hormones so I could have victory over the hormones that cause depression.
Do you readily forgive those who upset, offend, and oppose you?
I would like to say that I do, but it's easy to hold on to hurts and people that do offend and oppose you all the time. Yeah. It's just, especially they're in your family. And a lot of times it's on a daily basis. And it's so hard to be forgiving and forgive people instantly and just not hold grudges. I know I really find that in my relationship with my wife that...
Well, your wife is your life.
Yeah, she is my life, and I don't know. I think everybody has battles in their marriage. I think Satan is always warring against the marriage and the family because it's the foundational unit of our spiritual life and just a society. And there's so many things that war against marriage and doing the right thing and loving your wife as if she were your own body and not harming her in any way. And it's so easy when you have all these things going on, financial problems, health problems, just all the things that can go wrong and do go wrong in everybody's life, is to hold the people that you love the most responsible and just blame them So I do my best. I would love to say I forgive people instantly, but thank God for the rubber band.
Yeah.
And snapping my wrist. It's better to give myself pain than to give others pain.
Do you experience service to others as a source of joy?
You know it is. I look at Jesus Christ as the greatest example of laying his life down for people that didn't deserve it. And I pray the rosary every morning and just think about the Stations of the Cross and just so amazed at what he did for us. And I'm so grateful for the great gift of eternal salvation, but I look at the suffering and the pain that he went through to gain that for us, and just awestruck, and I'm just so amazed to know that there's nothing that I can do to gain eternal salvation, that everything that I do now is basically just in gratitude for the great gift that he's given me. So yes, I do experience service to others as my greatest joy, and I do want to be one of the greatest servants of all, because I know that that's the only way that in the afterlife that I can be one of the greatest in the kingdom.
Yes. What place does the power of prayer have in your life?
I pray every day. It's the first thing I do in the morning is I go through all my prayers, and I pray for just about everybody that I know. It takes me about a half hour to do all that, and then I say the rosary and contemplate just the Stations of the Cross and just the mysteries of the rosary, and just think how incredible it is, that entire almost supernatural event that changed the way that humanity looks at the world and looks at others. I think that the reason why I love Christianity is the power that God puts in the lives of others to cherish every human life and every person, no matter what their faith, and just the commands that he has to love others as we love ourselves, and to lay our lives down for others. And you know, it's beautiful because Christianity doesn't put individuals at odds with others, even if they don't believe the same way that they do. Yeah. It's the idea that you love others no matter what, that you have to love first and accept their beliefs and walk a mile in their shoes just to find out what they believe. So many people just out of hand reject others and condemn others and just want to kill others because they don't believe the same way that they do. And I believe that it's time for compassion. It's time for love. It's time for being long-suffering. It's time to look at the reflection of God in the lives of every other person. I don't care where they live or what they believe, but I believe that there's humanity in every person, that every person is made in the image and likeness of God, and that we need to respect that and we need to cherish that.
Do you maintain your sense of humor in the face of serious problems?
You know, I do sometimes. I think it's important to have humor in life, but as with everybody else, I definitely have my weak moments.
Sure.
And there's some days that I'm a pretty humorless person and not a very fun person to be around, but I think that humor can change a situation instantaneously, that the ability to laugh at your own selfishness, your own greed, or your own doubts, or just find something that's funny in an event that is so tragic. I think that a lot of times it's important that you either have to laugh or you have to cry.
Laughter can be quite healing.
Oh, that is so true.
Who are the heroes in your life?
Well, you know, there's a lot of heroes in my life. There are so many heroes. I mean, just the people that I've met on the internet that I've interviewed as heroes, like yourself, that are making the world a better place. I think that both my mom and dad are heroes, you know, struggling with the difficulties that they're having right now with their poor health. And I think probably one of the greatest heroes is my dad, even though he's pretty much paralyzed on one side, and, you know, he's trapped in diapers and trapped in a world where he has no control over his life. And I've never heard him say a negative thing or complained or got angry at anybody. And just how embarrassing it must be not to have any personal privacy and be totally dependent upon others, and not just be upset at that, but be kind and compassionate and just accept it. You know, being able to accept that situation and do it graciously, and just having a positive word to say and just having a smile. I mean, that's just so incredible. And I truly believe that my wife is my other greatest hero after my mom and dad, because she is here helping to take care of my parents, and she's changing the diapers, she's sacrificing her life being here helping my family when her family back in Dallas is going through their own trials and tribulations, and just how hard it is for a mom to be away from her grandkids and from her family. And talk about sacrifice. That's what I really believe that sets heroes apart, is serving and protecting others, and a lot of times sacrificing what they want to do in their lives for the benefit of others.
How did they make a difference, a positive difference in your life?
Well, just their example of sacrifice and just love for others and just compassion. Yeah. It's something that I've never been a real emotional person, and I've always been sort of a right-brain person and goal-oriented, and I don't have many emotions. And learning and seeing what emotions are and how powerful they are in a person's life and how good they are, they give you peaks and valleys, and they make life interesting other than just totally dedicated, I'm on a mission and I'm going to succeed. Right. It forces you to look at the people around your life, and I think the most important thing that you can do is minister to the people that God puts on your path. And the only way you can really do that is by showing your emotions and experiencing your emotions and having those emotions of love and hate and anger, and just be willing to go through that.
Who do you feel are the real heroes in our society today?
Well, the real heroes are people that help others. My acronym for a hero, or actually heroes, is somebody that helps enthusiastically, responsibly, optimistically, exceptionally, socially, and or spiritually. And
that's great.
Virtually anybody can do that. At any moment in time, anybody can step up to the plate and help somebody and instantly become a hero. Gregory Alan Williams, one of the first heroes that we did, who was the black cop on Baywatch, he actually saved an Asian man's life in the LA riots. He was being beaten to death in an intersection in his car, and Gregory Alan Williams, who's a black man, he went out and pulled the guy out of the car even though the mob was there trying to kill him. And they're getting ready to turn on Gregory Alan Williams and the Asian guy, and the Mexican guy stepped in and took the beating so he could get that man that was injured to the neighbors, and they were able to get him to the hospital, and he survived. And Gregory Alan Williams said there's a little bit of good in the worst of us and a little bit of bad in the best of us. So no matter how bad a person is, they can step up to the plate and become a hero. Even in a moment in time, they can change somebody's life by doing good. And so I think that there's heroes all around us. Anybody can be a hero, no matter what their status in life is, no matter what their attitude is. And just as you believe that it's important to give people a good example of what real heroes are, and those are the people that lay down their lives for others, that aren't so focused on material possessions and fame, and aren't driven by greed or lust or, just experiencing the pleasures of life, but actually are trying to make the world a better place by helping people that are in their lives.
I love your acronym for heroes. Why are heroes so important in the lives of young people?
Well, young people, everybody was young at one time or another, and when you get those flood of hormones, and it's such a interesting time when you have different peer groups based on, physical ability, financial wealth, just appearance, that everybody sort of just gets stuck in a different category. And from my experience of being sick all the time and just being a 99-pound weakling and being one of the smallest kids in the class and being a nerd, it's an incredibly hard time in my life. And so the real heroes in my time were the people that I'd read in books, the people that had overcome incredible difficulties and trials and tribulations. I was so rejected as a kid that I spent most of my time reading books, and I loved the stories about average, everyday people that became heroes by doing something that nobody thought that they could do. And the only way that young people can live lives of heroism is by modeling their lives after people that are successful, people that have done great things. And if they can find those people in their family or just in their neighborhood or at their church or at school as a coach or a teacher, or if they don't have access to that, just some of the greatest people, their biographies, they can become heroes just like they are for you in your secret group of heroes that you've chosen, that are in your dreams, that when you meditate, that they're there giving you good advice. I think that if you don't have real life heroes in your life, that you can find them in books, you can find them in comic books like I did. You can find them virtually everywhere. And without those examples and those models, kids don't know what to become. They don't know how to get there. They don't have a path charted out. I know for myself, I was just wavering in the wind. I didn't know which way to go because a lot of my heroes were fictional characters. And they were good at killing, evil invaders from space and horrible creatures and stuff like that. But they really didn't have a way of telling you how to be successful in life. And unfortunately, a lot of our heroes in the comic books these days, there's no black and white. There's no good or evil anymore. A lot of the heroes that are promoted these days, I mean, they're I would say they're tragic characters because they don't know what's good and they don't know what's evil. They have all these self-doubts, but the good thing is a lot of times they do the right thing most of the time.
Yes. Who do you think are the heroes today that are not getting the recognition they deserve?
Well, of course, it's the mom and the dads, first of all. I mean, the moms and dads are laying their lives down for the kids, and the kids don't even realize just how much sacrifice it takes for the moms and dads to go to work every day and buy food and clothes and, love the kids and take a lot of the guff that the kids give them. And anybody that takes care of somebody that's sick in their family, they're not only a hero, they're a saint. And the teachers, the coaches, the spiritual leaders, the priests, the pastors, all the different faiths, all the people that take that time and sacrifice fame and fortune and material possession and free time just to make a positive difference in the lives of others.
How do people become heroes?
Well, it's similar to what you say, serve and protect. It's people that sacrifice part of their time or their money, or I think the most important thing is they sacrifice their time. That's the most valuable thing that they have to help others, whether it's people in their family, in their community. I don't care who they help. When people help others, they're basically making the world a better place. I really love your analogy as far as the darkness that society is trapped in of hate, and seeking after greed, the darkness of, pornography, of lust, power, material possessions. Most people get so caught up in that. And we look at our politicians and we look at a lot of the people, sports stars, movie stars, all those people are the worst examples for young people. And the sooner they realize that there's a hero within themselves, if they just learn what heroes do, they can be a hero every day. And just look at their moms and dads and people within their family on the good things that they do and not be so concerned about themselves. I think the hardest thing in the world for people to overcome is just selfishness. And the only way that you can overcome that is serving others and being depressed and being upset and not choosing what you have and just being in a state of always wanting other things. It's so crucial to not be so concerned about yourself, but be more concerned about the people around you. I think that's where you overcome depression and unhappiness and sorrow, by helping others, because it's such a great joy to help others. And you see how just paying it forward, doing random acts of kindness, like you said, it can be so transformational in this world, because if you help one person, you're helping yourself and you're helping the entire world.
Yes. Well, where are heroes located?
They're located everywhere. They're every person that you can come in contact. And I truly believe that angels walk this earth. There's good angels and bad angels, but I believe that angels are there to miraculously help you, and they're like the ultimate spiritual heroes that step in and intervene in the most miraculous ways. And I believe that people can find miracles occurring in their lives on a daily basis if they just look for it and realize that when they do good things without expectation of return, that God actually rewards them. And people don't believe in the Christian God, just the universe will reward them.
Yeah. How does it feel to be recognized as a hero?
It feels great. I carried a character, a hero, when I was in the skateboard industry called Captain Biorhythm. I was so impressed with biorhythms on how it charted the ups and downs of life, because everybody does have ups and downs, and to know that there is cycles that you can actually watch and prepare yourself with your attitude and just never give up when you see different events occur, because that's a part of life, ups and downs. And I was doing research on accidents and injuries in the skateboard parks and in the top skateboarders back in the late 70s, and I saw that there was a real correlation in accidents and injuries just as the researchers in Japan saw that you could cut accidents and injuries by at least 70% by just rewarding people to be more cautious on certain days. And so I created my character, Captain Biorhythm, in a slalom race where you go down a steep hill through cones like skiing on a skateboard, and I'd never done it before, and I thought for sure I was going to kill myself and have a severe injury. And so it was on Halloween, and all my friends told me, oh, yeah, why don't you do it, Ralph? You can do it. And so I decided I would create a hero called Captain Biorhythm that was able to overcome his fears and just realize that there was a potential for accident and injury. So I got one of my girlfriends to create a hero's costume out of a woman's velour dress. It was like a tunic, and I put biorhythms on the top, and I had a big blue cape, and I was trying to get the idea of wearing skateboard safety equipment across to the skaters because I saw so many horrific accidents and injuries. And so I got all kinds of elbow pads and knee pads out of the motorcycle industry, and I had a helmet and I had a big giant blue cape, and I showed up at the skateboard event. Unfortunately, right on my way up there, my car conked out, so I had a change in my car, and I hitchhiked, and I got a ride from a girl named Robin Logan, who was on the Logan family skateboard team. So she gave me a ride up there, and I showed up, and I was in my costume, and unfortunately the skaters had lied to me, and nobody else was dressed up in a costume but me. So, boy, did I feel pretty stupid. And on my first skateboard run, it was in La Costa, and it was a day when the wind was blowing incredibly strong, and my cape billowed out behind me, and I had this chain that was around my neck. And as I started going down the hill, the cape acted like a parachute. And at the same time, that chain was strangling me as I was going through the course in slow motion. And all the skateboarders were standing on the side, and they thought it was the funniest thing that they had ever seen. And from then on, I was Captain Biorhythm, no matter whether I was dressed in my costume or not. And so, I got a lot of guff for that, a lot of ridicule, and people recognized me as a hero then, but now just being recognized as a hero of Ralph for trying to make the world a better place and doing something about it really is a great joy, and I'm very grateful that people think that I am a hero, because ever since I created that character back in 1976, I think it was, I've been using that character as a way of overcoming just disappointments and sorrows and health problems and setbacks, and knowing that Captain Biorhythm, he's my alter ego, he's my right brain, he's the creative, the spontaneous, the intuitive, the emotional. He's the one that is the character that brings balance to my entire life.
Why do you think you were selected for this unique honor?
Well, I was selected because I honored other people first. I honored other people as heroes first and looked for the good in them and the good things that they were doing. And because I was doing it without trying to get money or make money in the whole process, I was doing it for the pure joy of trying to make the world a better place by focusing on the good that people do rather than the negative, and realizing that if you help enough people get what they want, that you'll get what you want too. And my ultimate dream would be able to generate enough money with this program that I would be able to do this full time and be able to go to every community and help people set a program of going in search of heroes in their community and honoring all those people that deserve to be recognized.
How will being recognized as a hero change your life?
It already has changed my life. That other people think that I am a hero, it just confirms and reaffirms all the years and all the sacrifices that I've been through ever since I created Captain Biorhythm back in 1976. It's been a hard road, and I can't tell you how embarrassing it was to wear my costume around. For 1 year I lived as Captain Biorhythm. I wore my costume to work every day. The costume I designed, it went through a number of series of evolutions and ultimately became a test of people's brain integration, whether they were right brain or left brain dominant. And so when I was director of a chain of health spas in charge of health research, family fitness centers, I wore my costume to work every day to test people's brain hemispheres. I had my car painted up as the Biomobile, and it had Captain Bio on it. And everybody kept on asking me, gee, who is Captain B10? It just seemed that anything that I did just had the reverse consequences. I was ridiculed, but still, I persevered, and, I went to the comic conventions in San Diego and went up on stage, and even remember one time when I was doing the first Heroes program, I had a young man stay with me, and we went in search of heroes at the comic industry, the comic convention at SeaWorld and Disneyland, and I was up on the stage, and I had 3 stages where I had Ralph Zuranski on the outside, and underneath that costume I had Captain Biorhythm, and underneath that costume I had Bioman, where you integrate the right brain and the left brain, and bio means two, and so when you join your hands together, that integrates both your right brain and your left brain, and people do that naturally when they put their hands together in great joy or great sorrow. Some people pray, it's like integrating the person instantly, and at that time the people that were running the convention turned the lights off. When I took my first layer off, they thought that I was probably a pervert and that I was going to expose myself. And I intended to expose that, there's 3 aspects of human beings. There's your right brain, your left brain, and then anybody can be a bioman or a biowoman when they join hands together and they form the circular completion and become friends with themselves, and both brain hemispheres are working together rather than trying to destroy one brain hemisphere. Most of the times our worst enemy is ourselves and our dominant brain, usually the left brain, that's the logical, the judgmental, the mathematical and verbal skills. It's the one that's competitive, and the judgmental one is the one that internalizes all the negative stuff that people have told us over our lifetime, and can a lot of times destroy our self-image and just make our lives the worst ever.
Yeah. How are you making the world a better place?
Well, I'm doing it through the In Search of Heroes program, and I'm looking for people like yourself to create a mastermind group of people that want to make the world a better place, that actually are good examples, that have overcome trials and tribulations in their lives and have basically sacrificed, wealth and fame and finances just to basically make a difference in the lives of other people, because I firmly believe that God's not going to judge us for how much wealth or material possessions or how much power that we gain in society, but how we treated the people that He put in our paths as we went through our lives to either do good or evil to those people.
Yes. Do you have any good solutions to the problems facing society, especially racism, child and spousal abuse, and violence among young people?
Absolutely. That's what the Heroes program is all about. First, to help people to become friends with themselves and learn how to love both of their personalities, their right brain and their left brain. That's the idea of creating the bioman or biowoman, to get people to realize that they truly have the ability to become heroes by first realizing that they have 2 personalities in their brain and becoming friends with those 2 personalities and just loving both of those personalities and accepting them, that, once you become an integrated brain, that you can do tremendous things, and teaching kids and everybody how the brain actually works to process information. In our schools, it's mostly left brain teaching that destroys the creativity. It suppresses the creative part of the brain, part of the brain that has super memory and super creativity. That's just depressed in the schools, and so my goal is to teach people how to find their own hero within, become friends with both of their brain hemispheres, become biomen or biowomen, and then learn how their brain processes information and present that information in a way that people can actually become successful, and then teach them the aspects of business so that they know that by working correctly, by using their God-given abilities and being able to process information in the right way, that they can be incredibly successful. Learn how the tax system works so that they can save the money that they have and pay the least amount of taxes, and basically give back to society by becoming successful financially.
That's great. If you had 3 wishes for your life and the world that would instantly come true, what would they be, Ralph?
The first would be that people would love themselves and love others. The second would be that there would be peace on earth. And the third would be that people would realize that there are alternate ways of attaining incredible levels of health and well-being rather than the conventional pathways of chemicals and drugs, and that people would realize that we don't have to pollute the world to basically achieve, the wealth and just the leisure that we have in, like, the United States and the other countries, that if people would just realize that there's a natural way to learn, a natural way to heal, and a natural way to take care of our world.
That's great. What are the things parents can do that will help their children realize they too can be heroes and make a positive impact on the lives of others?
The thing that they can do is that they can first love themselves, love their kids, and give a good example of what parents should do just by showing kids through example on how it is to live a life that serves others, because they're laying their lives down for others by, feeding and clothing the kids, making sure that they get a good education, and just by giving that example and, being willing to be the parents to provide discipline and show the kids that selfishness is not the way to go and that there are certain things that they should actually do. And so the parents have to provide discipline. They can't just be their kids' best buddies and want the kids to be their friends. They have to be willing to accept the anger and a lot of times the hatred of the kids and teaching kids the right way to go.
Right. Well, Ralph, what's next for In Search of Heroes?
Well, next is to do the In Search of Heroes book, which I'm working on right now, the In Search of Heroes on the Internet. That will be the first book, and the second book will be In Search of Heroes in Medicine, all the answers that kids need to realize, and parents too, that can just help make such a big difference in the health and the lives of themselves and also in their kids. If we can teach kids how to love themselves, how to utilize their brains to the full power, how to be healthy, and how to be successful in business and actually provide a vehicle that they can be successful in publishing and promoting the e-books they create about the heroes in their community, we should be able to generate enough income to help people in the communities fund their own programs to basically make their communities better than they could ever be.
That's great. I can't wait till the book comes out. And again, that's Ralph Zuranski, In Search of Heroes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this, Sharif.
Thank you.